Hi, Gemini rising sign. Here is your weekly forecast starting on the 16th of March until the 23rd of March. So it really feels like this is a mental shift for you this week. Your ruling planet Mercury is really much the star of the show, making this week feel like very much of a personal recalibration for you. Now we have got the North Node and Mercury in your 10th house. So you can be really receiving, for example, a job offer. Or you can get fated messages that might be coming through, for example, your social circle. There is this great reset happening in your 11th house as well, which might be marking this massive pivot in your long-term goals. Meanwhile, we have got quite a activation happening in your second house as well, with not only Jupiter but three asteroids going into the sign of Cancer. So that's of course connected to your money and self-worth. So let's investigate what exactly happens. This is, I think, the week when you can start shining. Maybe not in a way that you expected it. Now, Mercury, which is your chart ruler, is doing some heavy lifting here in your 10th house, the house of career and reputation, while your 11th house, the house of dreams and schemes, are kind of like receiving this total reset. So I think this week it's not about small talk. It's about looking at the bigger picture. It's about moving from thinking about your future to structuring it. So the reason why is because that Mercury retrograde makes two passes on your North Node this week. Once when it's retrograde and once when it's direct, but it all happens in your 10th house. And this is the highest point of your chart, your career, your status, how the world sees you. So imagine you worked on a project or applied for a high level position, maybe back in February, and then they went silent about it. Maybe this is when you get the call back, for example, and the conversation is changing, for example, with the boss as well. You can actually realize that that old version of that job doesn't fit you anymore. So this is a kind of like a fated redirection on your career path. It is asking you to look at whether your current career path actually leading you towards your destiny or it just kind of bogs you down, makes you super busy. Maybe this is a day or week when you have to be paying attention to the feedback from your bosses and mentors because it might become a key to your next move. Now, also, the sun is in your 10th house as well, making that sextile to Uranus, while Venus in your 11th house making a square to your Jupiter in the second. And on top of that, Isis and Apollo enters your second house as well. So I think it does talk to you about finances. There's an internal breakthrough somehow that is affecting your wallet. Now, the sun is in your career house, connects with Uranus in that hidden house, the 12th house. So I think you can get some sudden flashes of insight when you are a bit more quiet, while you are driving or you are in the shower. Maybe it's all about a new way to monetize your skills, what to do with your money, how to potentially involve or improve that. It gives you an unconventional idea, potentially, that might be even solving some long-standing, like professional blocks. However, watch the impulse because, we can celebrate too early. Like Venus, it's in your 11th house, the friends squaring your Jupiter, your money in the second house. So you might feel like, oh, I'm going to treat the entire group of friends to a dinner, for example, because you feel like that you have won something. I think you should be saving this celebration when actually the contract is signed or finalized. Maybe it's at the end of the week, when Mercury also makes a connection to North Node, but it's going to be direct. The shift of Isis and Apollo entering your second house, that's a great restoration of your finances. Apollo brings you the truth about your spending habits, about the money you might have given to others. And Isis helps you to kind of reassemble your budget, something that might actually work even better. Of course, this could be about you rebuilding your sense of self-worth as well from the ground up. Even Eros enters your second house this week as well. And this is passion, passion turns towards what you own, what makes you feel safe. Maybe you're gonna start feeling deeply attracted to things that represent your legacy or a quality. Instead of buying, these fast fashion or quick gadgets, maybe you spend a bit more time on researching investments or something that is kind of giving you that forever peace energy, let's say for your home or for your family, because it's about feeling that soul level connection to something that I own. So, it's not necessarily being so interested in the newest things, but I want to be receiving the real things, basically. One of the best aspects, again, of the month is potentially the Mars and Jupiter trine. Imagine that as a green light. And the green light is again connected to your money and your career. So this is about getting paid, basically. So maybe you have been waiting to ask for a raise or set new rates for your freelance work. Well, you should be choosing this day. The action potentially you take in your professional life actually might start flowing perfectly into your bank account. Somehow it's an effortless win here. You don't have to fight for it. Your work speaks for itself and the reward are ready to be harvested. Remember, we need to be able to reach out for these opportunities. So this is brilliant for like I said, asking for a pay rise or even signing a new contractual agreement, going towards potentially a new job as well. The sun moves into the sign of Aries, which is of course your 11th house, and then straight away it makes a conjunction to Neptune and Saturn as well. So that might be a turning point for your social identity. The 11th house is the house of community and long-term goals. So maybe you start looking at your circle of friends or the organization you belong to, and then you realize they no longer align with your dream. And you are merging your vision for a better world, or you are moving towards a future with more prosperity. But Saturn gives you the discipline to lead that movement. So you might be quitting a group, something that feels empty, and then you start your own community or foundation, or maybe you decide who your tribe really is and what legacy you want to leave behind. This is about anchoring your dreams into something concrete structure. Now, and then the second Mercury and North Node path, which comes together with Juno and Uranus trine as well. So it really feels like with Juno in your eighth house and Uranus in your 12th house and that Mercury element, that you have got this deja vu. You had this opportunity for a contractual agreement, and then this Juno Uranus actually can help you to make it as a solid agreement. So we are finalizing a deal involving potentially investments, money, inheritance, or even we can do that in our partnership as well. And this commitment is a liberation that finally gives you the resources you need to pursue your vision. Somehow the fog is lifting up here, and then you have got a blueprint in hand, which way to go. I think this week you are spending a bit of time on auditing your net worth, your self-worth, your network as well. And maybe this is about, you know what, I have had a share of my fun. Now I want to be stepping into certain level of a legacy work. So it really feels like that it might be a fated move and a financial restoration for you from many perspectives. So there is a career pivot here. So do let me know how you might feel like with the week ahead. And I highly recommend listening, of course, to the general forecast video where I give you the sensitive degrees as well. But, with Jupiter ruling your seventh house, it might be about that you want to be receiving more support from others. And we have got a Jupiter and Venus square as well, so you can become more affectionate, a little bit clingier too than usual. Like I want to be spending quality time together with my friends, family, lovers, and so on. I think the Jupiter and Mars trine, especially with Mercury being there, can give you a lot more popularity as well, a lot more charm also. But this might be an invitation to make sure that we are honest when it comes to our feelings, for example, and it should be, give and take. So you give me emotional support, and I don't know, I'm gonna give you, physical support. So here is my shoulder to cry on. Jupiter also rules your relationship department as well, like I said. So it could actually help you finding new love if you want. Someone who is very sensitive, very nurturing, potentially even quite romantic as well. Reason why, because your seventh house ruler and your fifth house ruler are connected. Yes, it's by a square, but that's a connection too. So keep an eye on that. Good luck, Gemini, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.